Premier has refused to rule out a tax increase to help pay down debt. Keeping with her modest and measured mantra, Annastacia Palaszczuk kept the state coffers firmly closed as she embarked on another blitz of the north. Here's Tegan George.
In the final week of campaigning, every day counts.
It's about getting young people into employment.
And every job, it seems, with the Premier visiting Cairns for the third time in 23 days to meet 3 people.
These 3 energetic young people have now got a job because of our Back to Work program.
Annastacia Palaszczuk will focus mainly on jobs all week and how she can hold on to hers without needing one nation.
I have said no deals. I have said no deals.
A promise also made during the last election campaign, which she broke to form a minority government.
Because Peter Wellington was a man of integrity.
None of the potential crossbenchers this time have enough integrity for you to do it.
You can try and twist my words. I'm making it abundantly clear. I am going for a majority Labor government.
Treasurer Curtis Pitt standing by the Premier's decision to this time go into opposition rather than do any deals.
The Premier has had conversations with all of the Cabinet colleagues, and it is important to note that this is something we stand on our principles on.
Robbie Catter finds it all a bit insulting.
Those comments are a slap in the face, but we got thick skin.
He's already releasing demands, his support in exchange for a new North Queensland development portfolio.
But we'd like to offer them an opportunity to really get things done up here, and we think that we'd all play a very important role in that.
But there was no new money for Townsville today. The Premier there to merely watch groundworks begin on the $215 million Burdekin pipeline. Mayor Jenny Hill joining her for the first time since the Adani loan controversy.
I expressed to the Premier my disappointment, but I know that's not a showstopper.
The day isn't done and dusted just yet for Premier Palaszczuk. Later this evening, she'll fly to Mackay for, you guessed it, another jobs announcement in the morning. From there, it's all down south as she makes her way back to Brisbane. Tegan George, 10 Eyewitness News.
Tim Nicholls has taken a hands-on approach to impress voters in the last week of the campaign. The LNP leader also headed north to talk up his multi-billion-dollar infrastructure plan. Lauren Day reports.
To start the last week of the election campaign, Tim Nicholls planted himself at a Bundaberg chili farm.
Do you get used to the cold?
Yeah, sure.
You sure do.
The opposition leader enjoying the local produce, a taste perhaps of what's to come if he becomes Premier.
No guts, no glory.
Another redhead, Pauline Hanson, jumped off the campaign for one day for the birth of her 5th grandchild. Tim Nicholls says One Nation will get preferences but not ministerial portfolios.
No.
One of her former aides, now Mermaid Beach Independent candidate, Soraya Berrick, has a red-hot stunt of her own, using Tinder to appeal to voters. But Mr Nicholls wouldn't say if there could be less attraction for him as Premier, after Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and former Premier Campbell Newman attended yesterday's LNP launch.
I had my wife beside me, and that's all the help I need.
The LNP continues to push its infrastructure agenda, promising an extra $360 million to fix the Bruce Highway around Bundaberg.
They need safe and secure lines of communication. They need to be able to get their product to market.
This is the second time Tim Nicholls has visited Bundaberg during the election campaign, and there's a reason. It's Labor's most marginal seat, held by just 0.5%. A staged meet and greet with mums also had a fruit and veggie theme, and how the LNP could put more of them in school canteens. But it didn't quite go to plan. Tim Nicholls beat the Premier to Mackay by just hours to release the LNP's $2.7 billion infrastructure plan. There's 4 more days to try and beat her at the polls. Lauren Day, 10 Eyewitness News.
Religious leaders have made an extraordinary foray into the Queensland election, calling for the Adani mega mine to be scrapped. They spoke out in rare unity as other protesters targeted local candidates. Lachlan Kennedy reports.
Inside Adani's Townsville HQ, protesters break into song.
Oh no, Adani, never gonna build that mine.
Outside, a yelling match as activists target an LNP press conference.
This is a clear difference
between the LNP and the Greens and Labor at this election.
In Brisbane, same topic, but a much more civil and unusual scene. Catholics with Quakers, pagans with Protestants, not joined in prayer, but in political protest.
The government needs to get with the program and follow what the people are asking them to do.
Religious and community leaders are making a rare, unified statement against the Carmichael coal mine. They want guarantees public money won't be spent on the controversial proposal, calling global warming a threat to God's creations.
The Adani mine is a symbol of what's been happening on the planet because of our use of fossil fuels.
These faith leaders describe a groundswell of community opposition to the Adani project. Such is the growing concern within their congregations. They say it would be unconscionable for them to remain silent. But is it the place of the church to comment on political campaigns?
Absolutely. Religion is political. Life is political. With everything we do is political. To stay silent is a political act.
They may need to make more noise, though. The leaders seem unfazed about the religious intervention.
No, that's the matter for them.
There are a lot of opinions around Adani. There's no doubt about that.
The ultimate power resting with voters on Saturday. Lachlan Kennedy, 10 Eyewitness News.